Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to wait just about 2 minutes and we'll get started. Is everybody cold? It's not too bad here. It's a little cold though. I've been very busy this morning already.
Mindy?
Yes.
See Andrea over there?
She stepped out.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks everybody for being on this morning. I appreciate it. And those that show up, go up. So I appreciate you all being on this morning. The first thing I want to talk about is the 10K pledge. So how many take advantage of the 10K pledge or try to? I do. I've started it several times and I think I only got like 3 months in a row that I actually got 10,000 steps a day consistently on my Fitbit. But my Fitbit does not track my steps correctly. And so I got aggravated with it. My sister and I went on vacation together and we tested it several times. We walked the same distance, the same amount of steps, and she would always have more steps than me, like way more. So I guess it's something in my system. I even bought a new one and same thing. And we tried it out with several different people. But I got the Apple Watch for Mother's Day and I have no problem. It tracks all of my steps. So the only thing with I think mine is a 4. And I had to download an app to be able to sync it with Fitbit, and it's called My Fitness Sync is the name of the app, and I can sync it with that, and then it'll go over to my Fitbit. So that was the only little catch up with the Apple Watch. But this will be my 6th month to get 10,000 steps consecutively for 6 months. So I think this month is maybe the jacket. I don't know. I think it is. Anyway, so I'm very happy with the using the Apple Watch to track my steps, but I love the 10K pledge. And I know that we feel better when we exercise a little bit. And so I was, I have fibromyalgia, and so I hurt a lot. So I started having trouble with my left hip. Even had to change sides of the bed and everything, and it kept hurting. So I wouldn't walk because of my hip. Well, ended up going to 2 different doctors, and they both told me that I needed exercise. That's what was wrong with my hip. It's the SI joint is slipping out, but exercise helps it. So since they told me that, I've been trying to walk 4 miles. I usually walk it in the evening, but let me tell you a secret. If you get up, like on your watch and on a Fitbit, it tracks your movements per hour. And so what I try to do is every hour I try to get up and walk at least 300 steps. And then that way, at the end of the day, if I don't have time to get in 4 miles all at one time, I have a good bit of my steps already in. So it's not quite as hard to get my 10,000 steps. So that's just a little trick. My sister told me about it, actually. And so that's a little way to help you get your steps in by doing it by the hour. I try to get up every hour and walk 300 steps. Oh, wow. Tabitha's in her 22nd or 23rd week now. That's awesome. I can't wait till I get the shoes. So, okay, so I just want to do a push for the 10K pledge because I feel better whenever I walk, and I know that a lot of people will if there's any way possible. If you can't get in 10,000, at least try to get in what you can every day. So I want to do a little push for the 10K pledge. Another thing that I wanted to throw in today is talking about random acts of kindness. So Elise Cowart did a little live in her group, I think last night, and she talked about doing random acts of kindness today. And so I want to challenge everyone, as Elisa did, to sometimes today try to do a random act of kindness. This is crazy, but it happened. We go to Sonic to get a Route 44 unsweet tea lot. My husband gets Diet Coke, but I get unsweet tea. Well, usually we just pay with a debit card, but if you don't have cash, then you can't leave the kid a tip that brings it to you, and I don't like that. But anyway, we both did this the same week, and then we've done it a couple times since then. I went in to get a Route 44, and the only money I had was a $20 bill. And so when the guy brought me my Route 44, it was between 2 and 4, so it was only like $1.80 something. And I just told him to keep the change, and he did a double take. He like, do you realize what you gave me? And I said, sure. I said, I just want you to have a good day today. And he was all smiles. I mean, it was an $18 and something tip for him bringing me my unsweet tea. The same week, my husband did it, getting a Diet Coke at Sonic. And so since then, and the girl came back to him and asked him, did he realize that he had given her a 20 instead of a 5? And so it made their day, and their kids, but kids' feelings matters too. And then I had a nephew who was a server at Applebee's for a little while, and I got so aggravated hearing the stories that he would tell about people who do not tip. And so one night he had a group come in, and it was 20 or more, and they did not leave him with tip. No one left him. I mean, I think he got $1 or $2 was all. And so that child kid worked a lot to serve 20 people. And I mean, and they were very demanding. So I know I'm not talking about just doing a random act of kindness for a server or someone who's a waitress or waiter or whatever. But these are just a few of the things that came to my mind whenever I listened to Elisa's live, is make someone smile today. You never, ever know what someone is going through, and a lot of times people put a smile on their face when inside they're really hurting. And we have a fish camp close to our house, and it's only open like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. And a couple times we've been there, and an officer would come in, a cop or highway patrol or whatever, and we would privately pay for his meal. And I mean, not just to him. One day in the grocery store, there was a young mother in front of me, and she had two kids, and they were both just misbehaving, and the baby was crying, and she was so frustrated. And then she didn't have enough money to pay for her groceries. She was short. I think it was $20 or $30 something. So she was having to take items out of her off of her bill, and so to be able to get what she was, and you could tell she was embarrassed and she was flustered. And so as soon as when I noticed what was going on, I stepped up and I said, "Hey, let me pay for this and give her her items. I want to do this today." And she just cried and thanked me for it. And it was stuff that I could tell she needed, like cereal and milk and eggs and stuff that she needed for her family. But I know it's very, very important. Some people don't have people to make them happy or to make them feel loved or to do little things for them. So like Elisa said, if you can do a random act of kindness, pay for someone's coffee, even things like I helped a lady load groceries one day. She had some heavy stuff in her basket, and I said, "Ma'am, do you mind if I help you?" Just any little kind of act of kindness means a lot to some people. I think I'll be back. Just a minute. There. Sorry about that. But a small act of kindness, you would be surprised at what one little act of kindness, a smile, even just a smile, can make people happy and make them smile. Can y'all hear me? My screen keeps going in and out. I'm in the country, so if I leave, I will be right back. Anyway, let me read in the chat a minute. That's good, Shannon. For the Apple Watch, it's the app that I downloaded to help me sync my steps is, let me find it. And hey, y'all, I figured this out by myself. I didn't ask my brothers. It's My Fitness Sync. My Fitness Sync. And all you do is every evening before I go to bed, I just go there, click on to upload my steps, and it goes straight to my Fitbit and uploads it, so my steps will stay in sync with my watch. I have any problems whatsoever, and I love my watch. I love using it. Also, like when I go somewhere, instead of watching my steps, like in the evening, we go to the church and walk, and I try to get in 4 miles. My watch will tell me when I hit a mile. So every time I hit a mile, it keeps up with, there's an exercise program on it, and I love it. So let me see. My adult daughter works at Sonic, and it means the world. I imagine so. I've done that also. Mindy said that her adult daughter works at Sonic, and it means the world to her to get a good tip that helps her family out a lot. And I know it does. Those servers at those little bitty restaurants, they hardly make anything by the hour. So every tip really, really counts. And then I've never done it, put the $5 or $10 in the baby formula or the diaper box, but that is an awesome idea, because diapers and formula is very, very expensive. And these young mothers, a lot of times they struggle to try to get that. So that is a really, really good idea. So anyway, so today, Elisa had challenged all of us to do a random act of kindness and to hashtag it random act of kindness. And so let's all try to do that today. It doesn't matter what it is. Just try to go out of your way to do something extra for somebody. I think we'll all be blessed from it. Okay, last time I did Power Hour, I was telling you about my Bristol brew. And I don't know how many of you were on. 1 minute, please. I've got a scratchy throat. Sorry, y'all have to hear me today. So we talked about the Bristol brew, which is a little concoction that Jonathan made. Awesome, Suzanne. So let me tell you my results. So I've been on this 4 weeks today, and I'm a candy holic. I have to have candy. It's a Bristol trait, but chocolate is my go-to. And I'll get, like, I keep the little Hershey kisses, and I'll eat one 20 times a day. So I'm really eating 20 chocolate kisses a day, but it doesn't feel like it's that many if you just do one at a time. But in 4 weeks, I have not had not one piece of chocolate, not with candy. Travis's birthday was this month, and so we went to eat, and I ate 2 or 3 bites of his dessert. And then another time we went to eat, and he got the same dessert. It's awesome. It's a blackberry cheesecake cobbler, and oh my goodness, it is so good with ice cream. We went a second time, and he got that, and I ate 2 or 3 bites of it. But that is all the sweets I've had. I've had bread 2 times, and it was wheat bread, and I ate like a fourth of a sub. But in 1 month, I lost 8 pounds and like 4.5 inches. And most of the inches are in my stomach. And for like a week, I was traveling, so I didn't make up my Bristol brew. I did drink the Heart and Hydration, but not as much as I do with the Bristol brew. And I could tell a huge difference in how hungry I was and my cravings. So I'm going to give you the recipe of how I made the Bristol brew. I didn't, Suzanne, this is what I did. Now Jonathan drinks a gallon a day, and if that's how much water you need to drink, then you can. But what I did, I only need 75 ounces of water a day. So I just mixed up 75 ounces of this and then drank like water with my meals. So I was getting a little bit extra than just that. But what I do is I use 75 ounces of water, and then I use 3 green tea bags, and I put, this comes out of the 75 ounces. So I took 2 cups of water and put them in a glass container and put my tea in it and put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. And then I poured the tea into my container. I took the tea bags out because I kept having my tea bags break open, and I'd have to strain all that tea out of my water. So I use 75 ounces of water, 3 green tea bags, 3 Heart and Hydration, any flavor, and 3 nickel-sized pieces of ginger, and then the juice of 2 lemons. Put that in your container, put it in the refrigerator, leave it overnight, and then drink it the next day. And that's what I did. And I was at a plateau, and anyway, I had gained back several pounds because I was eating all this candy, but I haven't had any candy. I don't crave it. Eating good. I feel a whole lot better. And so I feel like, I had said, oh, True Vision's I've already got it in my system, and it's, I've been on it for 5 years. That's not true. I was overriding the True Vision. And so you can, if you drink this Bristol brew, I will. In fact, I'll put it in the chat. So I'm using 75 ounces of water. John used a gallon. But I would use whatever you need to drink, whatever half your body weight is, whatever you need to drink. That's what I suggest. 3 Heart and Hydration. The juice of 2 lemons. And I did not put the peelings in my thing. I did the first time, and it was sort of bitter after it sat all night long. 3 nickel-sized pieces of fresh ginger. And I peeled it so you get more of the flavor of the ginger there. And if you like ginger, you can put however much you want. I don't care for it, but this worked. So water, Heart and Hydration, lemon, and ginger. Is that it? The tea. 3 green tea bags. You can steep it like I told you, or you can just drop the tea bags in there and leave them overnight. my tea bags just kept breaking open. So I just steeped it in a couple of cups of water and then added the green tea to my container and threw the tea bags away. Anyway, I'm telling y'all, this stuff works. If you're wanting to get through a plateau, or if you're wanting to speed up a little bit of weight loss, this will do it. And I was not hungry at all. Wasn't hungry at all. So it helped a lot. And I knew I was overriding the True Vision with my candy, but I haven't even bothered. I didn't eat not one piece of candy corn, and that is a weakness of mine. I didn't eat an orange slice for the holidays. I haven't even bought that. I haven't had any cordial cherries, and I love them. So, all right, so that's enough about that. So I talked about the Brewster Brew. Anybody have any questions about it? Okay, I'll put the recipe back in the chat. Is it Dana? So I did this, Dana. I did this for 1 month, and I took my True Vision, and in 1 month I lost 8 pounds and 4.5 inches, and most of the inches is in my stomach. So I'm telling you, it works. It works. It'll do it. And John uses a gallon of water, but I only use 75 ounces, and I drink plain water with my meals. So that's why I went down to 75 instead of, I couldn't get all that in. Okay, so that's enough about the Brewster Brew. Okay, so let's do one assignment right now. So everybody go to your wall, your Facebook wall, and let's make an inspirational post on your Facebook wall. And when you're finished, put finished one in the chat, please. And I'll put it in the chat what we're doing. With this being Thanksgiving week, there's all kinds of acts of kindness that you could do. And I'll tell you something that I've done before is we have a family in our community that's not very fortunate. And 1 year I just took them a ham that was cooked. I cooked it and took it. 1 year I took them 2 trays of homemade candy. And I just try to do every Thanksgiving I show up at their house with something. And this lady has several children, and her kids are grown. She has a son who was in an accident, and so he's at home. He has to have help, and then she's raising his 2 children. So every year I show up at Thanksgiving and Christmas with stuff for this family, but not just that family. Like I bake bread. I'm fixing to do my friendship bread, and I just go around the community and hand out. But you would be surprised at the people whose lives you can touch with just a small act of kindness. And this week we should be thankful. This week is a week to reflect and look back on our blessings. And I promise you, I've been helping a friend of mine who has her son's caused her some grief, and she's needing help with some things. And I've been helping her, and she's thanked me. But this is what I thought. I would rather me be helping her with this situation than her be helping me. And so I'm very thankful that the Lord has blessed our family. So this week it should be very, very easy to think of a random act of kindness. Okay, there's a lot of people are getting done. Awesome. And I didn't do it, but I'll do it when I get off. So we'll wait 1 more minute, and then I'll give you the second. Well, we'll just go ahead. If you have not done your birthdays yet today, let's all go do birthdays now. That'll be number 2. When you finish, put birthday 2. I know I like to do Power Hour a little bit earlier because of This is how I start my day with these things. So I know some of you's already done them, and that's okay. We'll do something else. We'll wait just a couple of minutes and then we'll go on to number 3. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is message 10 green dots. So let's go to our green dots and message 10 green dots and try to do more than 5 words. When you're finished, you can put 3 or done with 3 or something. Number 2 was to do your birthdays. Anybody that's on your friends list, do your birthdays. Cindy. Okay. She thought she had missed. Oh, I don't know why I'm privately messaging Travis Jones. I'm sorry, Travis. That was supposed to be for everybody. I did it somehow. What did I say? Now. And when you're finished, just put it in the chat, please. my mom used to tell us I have 7 siblings, and we, for a long time, we all lived right here together, and we would get so caught up in each other. And I mean, we had enough. We had a family band. We had enough to play ball. Um, we basically had enough to do anything we wanted to do and have a blast. I mean, we could have a party with just us because there were so many of us, especially when we started getting married. And Mama would tell us, she'd say, we get so caught up in us, because we were sort of self-sufficient, that we forget that there's people that don't have large families like we had, and they need to feel loved. And so she would say, we need to look outside of our circle some and invite the ones that don't have family or that don't have people that they can love on close. We need to include them in our little get-togethers, in our parties, in our, whatever we were doing. So I've always tried to remember that, because there's a lot of Brewsters, and 4 of us still live right here together. So when we get together, now we've got grandbabies, and so we have a lot with just us, but we always try to include someone besides just our family. Just try to show love, to get outside of our circle. Okay, I'll give you just a few more minutes on the green dots. My husband is the oldest of 8 boys, and he's the only one. His mom and dad live here. They live about 3 miles from us, but he's the only one of the 8 that's left living here in JS. And so this week, though, they started coming in last night. All 8 sons will be home this whole week. They'll all be here till next Sunday. So we're going to have a blast with the Odoms and the Bristers. Bless your heart, Dana. Jesus. Right. A lot of people have a smile on the outside, but you never know what's on the inside. Mm. We'll add your friend's family to our prayer list. Okay. Let me see what time it is. All right, I'm going to give this one 2 more minutes, and then we're going to do something different. We're going to do a blitz today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the blitzes that I've been doing and give you some results, some of my results on them. One minute. It's the mailman. I will be right back. Okay. All right, so I know several of y'all have seen the blitzes. I think Angel and Ryan may have started them. I really don't know who started the blitzes. But what you do is and you can do this on your own. This is what I've been doing, and I've got several on my team that's been doing it also. At first, we were all getting on a Zoom, and for 15 minutes, sending messages to the way I'm doing it. I'm using my the people that I've added to my customer group. I started in alphabetical order, and I'm going down. But you can do it however you want to. Some people are scrolling all the way down on their messenger list and starting there and working up. But you can do it however you want to. But so for 15 minutes, you send a message. And what I do is I read to see where I left off with that person. I have several different messages that I use, and I'll share them with y'all in the chat in 1 minute. But what I'm doing is I'm messaging people for 15 minutes, and the most that I've sent so far is 78 messages in 15 minutes. I did this just last week, but and I'm working on 2 accounts. So, but that was on 1 account. I've got 2 phones going. So I do a 15-minute blitz. This is the thing. Everybody couldn't find time to jump on a Zoom together. So I just told them to do it every morning, and then if they don't get just overwhelmed, then do it again in the evening. And I'm doing the same thing, but like every 3 days, I have to break from it because I'm so busy answering questions still from the 3 days of doing blitzes before. So I'm contacting people that I first added to my group 5 years ago, and some of them I've not even heard from since I added them to the group. But you send these messages for 15 minutes. Do not answer any questions for 15 minutes. Just send messages. And I count every time I send a message, I count and write it down. So in September, I sent 200 and something blitz messages. In October, I sent 400 and something blitz messages. And this month already, I'm well over 400. I'm trying to double so each month, but I'm having to slow down too because I know I could get in trouble with Facebook. So you go at your pace. I'm very, very active on my phones is why I can do this. Okay. Saturday, one of the girls on my team, and I think she's on, Nicole Daniel, I think she's on today. She had 1 ranked to managing associate, and yesterday I had 2 ranked to managing associate. And both of mine are from the blitzes. So I'm even answering messages that I sent out 3 months ago. People are just now getting back to me on these blitz messages, but I am staying very, very active by sending these messages. So I want us to do this. And I'll put in the chat a couple of messages that I'm using for y'all. And so y'all know I'm slow, so just a minute. Let me do it for you. If I get knocked off, I'll be right back. Okay, but I'll show you this is the main message that I'm using. Oh, and this is another thing. If you're gonna do a list like I'm doing, then write down the last person that you message every time. Then when you start your next blitz, just look for that person and start under them. Okay, let me get you what I'm sending. It may not hurt if I put my glasses on. Right here. Okay, this is for the person who has never ordered. This is the message that I use the most. Okay, and then the person who didn't respond to my message. I use this one quite a bit too. But it's very important that you don't do anything that, if you set 10 minutes aside for blitz, or I use 15, just do not answer anybody during that 15 minutes. This is for the person who ordered but fell off. And I've got the label for these at the top. Please don't use that. This is just so you understand what this message is for. So that's for the person who ordered but fell off. Let me see which other ones I have. And reword them just a little bit. Those are the main ones that I use. That'll get you started. Those are good ones. So there's 3 messages. So for 15 minutes, let me see if there's any questions in the chat. I use the top one the most. That's what I use the most. Okay, so let's do a 15-minute blitz. I'm going to time us, and let's see how many messages we can send in 15 minutes. Do not respond. You can respond when we get through. So it's 10:41, so it's 10:56. We'll stop. So if you have a question, just ask me. You can unmute and ask, or you can write it in the chat. So let's go. 10:50. It's going to be 10:57. It's 10:42 right now. And I got to write it down so I'll remember it. 15-minute blitz. And let's see how many messages you can send. And you can do it either any way you want to. If you want to scroll all the way down on your messenger and hit all the green dots, if you go all the way down, that's going to be the people that it's been the longest since you talked to. Or you can just go to your friends list on Facebook and start at A and go down, and that way you'll be able to keep up with it. Just write down the last person that you messaged, and then you can start there the next time. Just reword them just a little bit. Teresa says she doesn't know how to see my blitz messages. They're in the chat, sweetie. Can you scroll up? If you scroll up, there's 3 messages in the chat, and I explained which ones I use for what. In the chat, if you can scroll up. Is anyone on here friends with Teresa Ann Ellis that could send her the messages maybe if she can't find them in the chat? Hey, Teresa, if you will message me, Darla Odom, I'll send them to you in Messenger. Okay, good. She found them. If anybody needs anything, just let me know. Hey, Teresa joins. Okay, Tabitha, thank you for being on. I try to do at least one blitz a day. Some days I do two, and then, like I said, about every 3 days I have to let it rest because I'm answering so many questions. But Ryan had told me when we first started to give it 90 days, and you'll really start seeing the results of the messages. And I promise you, he's right, because I have started really, really. I mean, some people is some of the first ones that I messaged 90 days ago that are now responding to me. So if you can, and what we're doing now, my team is we're all doing it on our own because you can sit in the doctor's office and blitz for 15 minutes. Or when you're getting your oil changed, I mean, send 10 minutes of messages. So you can, it's easier to find time when you're not trying to jump on a Zoom. But it does work. What's funny is one of the girls that's making managing associates, she's not interested in selling, but she's talking to people, and she's enrolled 7 this month. So now she's all excited. I'm fixing to go give them a meeting. And sometimes we message people or connect with them, and they're going to look at our information, but they forget. I know I do. I have to go back through my messages every night and make sure I answered everyone. So if you send them a message to remind them of who you are, then they'll think to look at the messages. Some people just get busy and it gets by them. They forget about it. We got 5 minutes left. 2 minutes. Okay, that's our time. So everybody try to count up how many messages you sent, and let's see how many was sent in this 15 minutes. You can just put it in the chat, or you can unmute and tell me. Thank you, Teresa. She needed to leave. Oh, wow, Nicole, 63. Woohoo. Go, girl. We're up to 145, 170. That's okay, Mindy. Any counts. Mindy's it works. We're up to 182. Okay, we're up to 227. Thanks everyone. I know there's several that's having to get off because of work. Thank you all for being on. And I suggest trying to do this every day if you can, and get your messages out there. You would be surprised at the people that want to order again. And so get them out there, get the messages out there, talk with your customers, and build a relationship with them. Look on their walls, comment on stuff that they do, build a relationship with them, and they'll be sure to come to you. They'll find out what you're up to or what you're doing. Before long, they'll go look at your profile like you looked at theirs. So thanks everyone for being on. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a lot of success with your Blitz messages today. And I'll talk with y'all next time. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.